Good afternoon and welcome to our fourth webinar that we've put on now. This one actually is operator safety and accountability. We're going to be looking at a lot of different topics as we move through this. My name is Chuck Cullinan. I'm the corporate safety manager with Toyota Material Handling Ohio. I've been with Toyota about 12 years. I have 35 years of experience in safety training, and one of my things that are very near and dear to my heart is specializing in pedestrian safety. Toyota Forklifts is located in Cleveland, Columbus, and Toledo. We were founded in 1968 as Interstate Lift Trucks. We were purchased by Toyota in 2012. The nature of our business is new and used and rental equipment, forklifts, side loaders, personal carriers, utility vehicles, allied products. We do an awful lot of safety training, as well as equipment parts and service and pallet racking. The safety programs that we do offer are operator training. This is a mandated requirement by OSHA with the express content since 2000 that all certifications are good for 3 years, providing there's no accident, incident, you're observed operating a truck in an unsafe manner or near miss. Trainer, which is a very flexible program where the company would choose a trainer or two to handle the training, forklift training needs of the company. Offers you an awful lot of flexibility if you do have a lot of operators, or if you have some turnover or seasonal help. Train the Trainer could be a good fit for you. We also will conduct that training as well. Refresher courses. This is the recertification classes that we do after the person has been certified, and we have a written test on site as well as a driving evaluation. This is the 3-year qualification. Also, refresher courses come into play during accidents or incidents, or a person is viewed operating a truck unsafely. Trainer and supervisor refresher courses. This is something that a lot of companies miss on, especially when we start to look at frontline supervisors and management, to where, what are the requirements? What are they supposed to be looking for? What should the operators be doing? Again, when we do the trainer course, one of the things that we tell the trainers is we do not expect them to be police officers. We do need to expect that they will try to correct an action that they see and not condone it. So many times as I go in and out of facilities, I see supervisors that are allowing things to happen, and a lot of it is complacency based. But again, they're condoning the action. That is probably the worst thing that we can do. The last one is inspections, where I'll actually come into your facility, walk through your facility, and take a look at your forklift program. And what I'm looking for at that point in time is compliance. I'm not looking for non-compliance. Non-compliance will always show its head. Again, this is where your complacency comes in, because these operators have ingrained themselves to a point that they've taken it to an accepted practice. Employer accountability, not knowing the OSHA requirements for all operators. And as you seem to climb the corporate ladder, we get further and further away from the requirements as far as what management truly knows. And again, they want to put it on one person and hold that person accountable. This is dangerous from the aspect that at the time of an accident or incident, it goes uphill. And, when all the documents are being looked at, this is where they'll get management involved in it. Don't hold frontline supervisors accountable. When a lot of times when I'm looking at companies and we're doing training, or I'm doing a walkthrough and I start to ask about things like the inspection checklist on lift trucks, I get the answer, yeah, we do them, or yeah, we have one guy do them, or I ask a supervisor, how do you know that they've been done? And they tell me, well, so-and-so's been doing them for years for us. Well, does that person ever go on vacation? Who does it while they're gone? There's a lot of documentation that has to be there. Remember that checklists are required to be done on lift trucks at the beginning of each shift. Yes, there's a point where it says that the inspection has to be done, but how can you prove that it has been done if you don't have a document? It's one that many companies fall short on. Again, don't maintain the pre-operation forklift inspection archives. This is where OSHA can come in and they can ask for up to 3 years of the inspections. And what they're looking for is to make sure that A, they have been done, B, that if there is a truck that needs to come out of service, that it does come out of service, that it has actually been rendered inoperable, which is not basically an idea where we just take the keys out of a forklift. OSHA turns and looks at that and says that it's not a means of isolation. So this is where lockout tagout comes in. And again, they'll look at all the documents as far as PMs and to make sure the company does its due diligence to make sure that the truck does not go back into service until it is repaired correctly. The employer must provide operator training. That's the federal reg. That's 1910-178. Knowing the operators must be retrained. Again, when standard changed in 2000, this is when it moved to every 3 years. Again, if there's an accident or near missed or observed unsafe behavior, these can all trigger training. Changes in equipment or operating conditions. If we make a massive change to the floor plan of the facility, or we completely change over our equipment, we have to do training on new operators so that they understand what the characteristics of that new piece of equipment is, or if there's a different classification of truck that moves in, such as you're running sit-down counterbalance trucks, and now you're going to go and you're going to introduce a narrow aisle truck or a stand-up truck. Those are all separate training issues. Again, OSHA states that we have to conduct training in the classification of the lift truck. Obviously, knowing that the operators must be reevaluated every 3 years. And again, the Fair Standards Act regulations prohibit people from the age of 18 old. They have to be at least 18 years old to operate lift trucks, except in a non-agricultural system. Why operator safety training is so important. 70% of all industrial accidents are caused by an operator error. I believe it's actually a little higher than that. Effective training may reduce accident rates by 25 to 30%. This is no question. This is where going through every 3 years, and I talk to people about in the off years, having a safety meeting and keeping it in front of them, constantly talking about it. Yeah, they get upset and say this is the same old stuff, but the more we keep reminding of them, it's repetition. Following forklift operator training, OSHA has found a 61% improvement in operator performance and scores. This is absolutely true. You can see the differential after you do the different types of training. This is where, obviously, we want to make sure the frontline supervisors get involved in it so they understand what the requirements are on the forklift operators themselves. Proper practices are proven a means of avoiding injury and death. This inspection of the lift truck is absolutely critical to be done at the beginning of each shift because, again, it's a position of, as I like to ask the operators, if you take your family out of town with your car, would you have the car looked at or would you look at it before you left? Absolutely. No one wants to have problems. Better question yet. If you go out to the airport to go on vacation, do you have a problem with the pilot doing the FAA checklist? Obviously, no one ever would. But the question then comes, who's he doing the checklist for? Well, the only answer to that is himself. He's the guy who's flying the plane. He's the guy who has to make sure that he can not only get the plane in the air, get to where they're going, and get it down safely. So he's in charge of the safety of the folks that are on board that plane at that same time. Helping maintain compliance and company reputation. These accidents that get involved, a lot of them get reported, a lot of them get to be used in different training sessions to where, people start to talk. And you'd be surprised, it spreads like wildfire. Assist in building proactive and thorough in your operation. I can't begin to tell you as well how an accident or an injury inside of your facility will not only affect the person involved in the accident who may be hurt, the driver of the forklift who was involved in the accident, but then the morale of your whole facility, turning around and starting to point fingers and ask questions and making statements such as management doesn't care. Management isn't concerned for us. They could have corrected this situation. It's time to be proactive, not reactive, and get involved in it so that everybody understands and is on the same page. Documenting inspections is the best interest for everyone involved. And again, if we start to see a truck that's in problem, take it out of service. That was when the standard was changed in 2000. That's what happened. They put forklift inspections right down in the operator's hands. Who knows the trucks better than the people that drive them every day? The backside to that statement was they also gave the operators the ability to take a truck out of service that they deem as unsafe. And this is where they have to get their supervisors involved. And at that point in time, the truck comes out of service and it doesn't go back in until it's corrected completely. What does OSHA require pre-operation inspection? Pre-operation inspections are often neglected or poorly documented. Why? We don't have enough information, or we're not following the information that the manufacturer hands us. We happen to provide checklists that we put on every lift truck that we sell, whether it be new or used, and that's to get the company into a good habit. It's a 2-page form, and basically what it does is it has the accountability to make sure that someone picks it up and make sure that these checks have been done. OSHA does not command how it should be done, but they also turn around and they tell you that you have to do these inspections on a shift-by-shift situation. The real question comes into play is how do you document it? If you don't have some type of piece of paper, it's your word against theirs. You'll have a very, very difficult time. And I should tell you that when investigations on accidents occur, that's one of the first things that we look for is the inspections on the lift trucks. Make sure that they're consistent and they have been done because what we're trying to do is proof out that the forklift was a cause of the accident or is a cause of the accident. It's also a very, very good tool as far as maintenance goes because you can work this in to your preventative maintenance schedule to where we can start to see things go wrong. Or technicians can also pick these up and look at them and see that Sean says that the brakes are starting to get spongy on this lift truck, and we need to start to pay attention to that, and we can start to look at dates, and this gives us preventative points so we can take care of the problem before it happens. The Checklist Caddy, as I talked about earlier, ensures that the forklift operator completes a full forklift inspection prior to the operation. Provides a copy of the forklift inspection form for the office records. This is a 2-part form. There's a white and a yellow. We pull the white one off after we fill it out. The white one we hand to a supervisor. There is your verification that it has been done. The yellow copy always stays in the yellow container, which is durable and visible and sits on the lift truck itself. Why is that? Well, if we have multiple people that drive the lift truck, we have to make sure that they understand that they have to make sure that the lift truck has been inspected. So it's a verification process. They pull it up, they open it, they see it. If it's dated, it's that shift, they go on their way. If it hasn't been done, that person is required to fill out the checklist. The Checklist Caddy, it holds the inspection book. And again, we put it on with double-sided tape and mounting it to one of the uprights on the lift truck. The 5 type of inspection forms that are available or propane counterbalance, electric counterbalance, electric narrow aisle. This would cover your reach trucks as well as your order pickers. The electric pallet truck, this would also cover your walkie stackers. Any aerial work platform, which is the scissors lift or the aerial platform themselves. That is a little different compliance as far as the schedule that you have to fill those out on. On the aerial lifts, you have to do it on each new operator. So they are a little different. In conclusion, basically what I would tell folks is that we really truly need to pay attention to what is going on, and we have to educate supervisors, and we have to educate frontline supervisors as well as managers to understand what they're looking for. And it's the same type of things that I'm looking for as when I do driving evaluations as to what they're doing. How are they handling the truck? Are they checking the areas before they move? Do they have their seatbelt buckled? Seatbelts are an issue where I've seen so many issues with these now that it really becomes redundant. We've done a good job as far as educating folks, but we aren't following up as well as we should. I have basically 3 active investigations that I'm doing right now, all dealing with seat belts, and the results from these are pretty ugly. I have one guy who's got 66 stitches in his face and his head. I've got another guy who's got 17 staples in his head. I have one operator that was completely ejected from the truck, at the time of an incident. Yes, they may have hit something or not paying attention, but again, it's complacency. They get into their job, they get very sure of what they're doing. So, yes, operators have a tendency to become complacent. So do pedestrians. And again, this is where we need to really, truly focus on getting pedestrians trained as well as forklift operators. That's what I would have for you on this subject. Remember that today is National Forklift Safety Days. Now I'd like to open it up for questions. I'd like to thank you for attending the webinar. I hope it was help for you. Obviously, I am available if you'd like to email me or contact me at tmho.com, and I will answer any questions that you might have. Have a wonderful day and be safe.